Hi everyone, Jewel here with J7409 weather for the tropical update on Tropical Storm Barry. The winds are increasing and the National Hurricane Center is now saying that right before landfall, Barry will probably become a hurricane. That's not going to make one difference one way or the other because those hurricane winds, wherever they come in, yes, you guys are going to get the brunt of it, but it's going to start to die with the winds. But all of this rain is not going to go anywhere. And it's still asymmetrical. Look, there is nothing there that looks like a complete hurricane. I like to use this map here over at myfoxhurricane.com, and thank you guys. I like to use this instead of the others because it's easier for you guys to see. Here you can see the amount of mile per hour shear wind may be in certain areas. Okay, Barry is still out here where the shear wind is like 25 to 35 miles per hour. That's why it's not blowing up and already a hurricane. Alright, we see one little teeny tiny place where the shear wind is nothing. So let's go through this and see what it looks like. We can see that little place where it's white has grown some now. It's nothing out of the way though. I mean, it's no big deal. Right in there, see the center of the system is still here. And the shear wind, it went away, but it's building again. Let's see what happens as we go through time. Look how it builds up. Look at there. And it still hadn't hit land. Here we go. We're going to start to get right to hit land tomorrow. We got to get through this first 24 hours. But you can see you guys are going to start getting rain. Some of you today. You may already have some. If not, late this afternoon or tonight. Now we got a little bit of that decrease in the shear wind picking up at about 28 hours from now. But then it goes away because the shear wind that this system is in still 30-35 miles per hour for the most part. And boom shakalaka as we move on along. You can see it moving up now. And it's still in this shear wind. So, you know, I'm going to still keep saying what I'm saying. It may become a hurricane. I said all along it was going to have hurricane winds in it. I think that's still a very good possibility. But so far as being a hurricane that does a lot of damage with winds, now, of course, if you're on the coastline, you're going to get the winds one way or the other, whether it's a tropical storm or a hurricane. If it is hurricane winds, of course, they're going to be worse on you. But it's not going to last. It's going to drop back down to tropical storm winds, I guarantee you, in a short period of time. Let's go over to the National Hurricane Center and see what they're talking about. And here's the latest update that has come from the National Hurricane Center. You can see the winds are up to 65 miles per hour now, which is expected. I'm expecting 70 to 75 miles. That is a Category 1, but it's not going to last now. I don't know why it just did that. Let's go back a second. My computer's got to where it does what it gets ready when it wants to. Okay, 65 mile per hour winds. The pressure is falling now. Now that is a good sign, but there's no way that it can form an eye is my point. I cannot see how this thing can form an eye in that short a length of time. It might. If it does, it's something I've never seen before. The pressure is falling, 998 millibars. It's located at 28.2 north, 90.4 west. It's still moving at 5 miles per hour west-northwest. That is a bad thing. Now, if it was a great big bad hurricane, oh Lord, it would be so bad. It's still bad because it's just building up more rain to dump on the areas that it goes over. People, listen up. I'm not playing when it comes to the rain in this. if you live in an area that this looks like it may go over, it's a slow mover. The rain is nothing to play with. You're going to have more water on your hands than you can handle. So please take that in consideration. Now, I always like to check out what's going on down south of everywhere, and this is still a tropical wave. You know, I was checking on this just this morning again since I've did my first video. We got this one. We may even have another one pop off behind this one. But I'll keep my eyes on it. We'll have to wait and see. Still, I don't think this one's going to make it. It might. We'll wait and see. You never know what may happen. But right now, it's a whole 1,000 miles away, folks. It's west-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands, and it is continuing to produce a small area of showers and thunderstorms. Some development of the wave is possible during the next day or so, while it keeps moving westward now. It's moving fast, about 15 to 20 miles per hour, but the conditions are going to become unfavorable by Sunday for development. It's very low at 20% through the next 5 days. And right now I'm thinking this one, it's going to try to blow up. I've seen twice, but I don't think it is going to make it in its entirety to become a full-fledged storm. Okay, my friends, here we have the latest tracking map from the National Hurricane Center, and you can see now they've got it labeled as a hurricane. Right at landfall, right as it is going on land. It may happen. I still think it's going to be a very high-end tropical storm with hurricane winds in it. At times. It may become a full-fledged hurricane. If it does, it's not going to last that long. But with the rain, it's going to be very, very awful for very many people. So please, no matter what it is, tropical storm, hurricane, this or that, hurricane seems to make more people afraid than a tropical storm. Well, let me tell you, I've had more rain and flooding from a tropical storm where I live, and in some of these tropical storms I've had, than I have hurricanes. The water is nothing to play with, so don't play with it, okay? But this is what it's looking like right here. And see, it's just going to die down to a depression by Sunday morning. This area right in here, wherever it comes up, you guys are going to get the brunt of it. The brunt of it. Now, they keep talking about the life-threatening storm surge. Well, I know about that too. But, folks, wherever it's blue, that's just like maybe a foot or two above what you normally have. There's a few little patches up here around Mobile, but it doesn't really look like that big of a deal to me right now. Where the greatest is, now New Orleans, you're going to have some too, but once again, this is only like 1 or 2 feet above ground with the surge. I ain't talking about the flooding height, I'm just talking about when the surge comes through, storm surge, okay? Everywhere you see the blue, let me get this back down right quick. Everywhere you see the blue, that's about 1 or 2 feet above ground level. Now, it's a different story with the yellow. Now you're getting to have a little more, okay? That's like 3, they say 3, I say 3 to 4 above. Because that's what it usually averages out to be. It depends on how strong these systems are when they come in. And it's looking like if it's going to be a hurricane, this has been like this the whole time, even with the tropical storm. I thought it would have changed to more, but it hasn't. So I'm still going by what I said to start with, but I'm also going by don't mess with it. The water can drown you if you're in certain places that these heavy cells go over, and they will linger for a while. That's my forecast all along. So you see the storm inundation here. There's nothing much going on over here. And Beaumont, it's looking pretty good for you right now too. So everybody hold tight. We're going to check out something else. Now, just because I'm talking this way does not mean do not take it in any way that I don't think this is going to be bad tropical storm, because it is. You need to prepare. And in some places, if you're down in this part of Louisiana, you don't need to stay where you are, especially if you're on the coastline, right in here. If you're anywhere like this, you don't need to stay there, because it's going to probably flood big time, okay? You don't need to stay there. You got a 50% high, the highest that it can get for excessive rainfall and flash flooding coming up, okay? Now, wherever you see this kind of orangey looking color for the rest of Mississippi and this portion of Louisiana, that's a 20%. Then it gets to a slight 10% chance as you come on out in parts of Louisiana, all the way up, as you can see, into Arkansas and Tennessee, and all the way down in the panhandles of Florida, and also for Alabama. But this is like for the greatest risk of flash flooding. And once again, if you live on this coastline right here, right across here, you need to be aware of the water that's coming, and you certainly need to have a plan in place. Those 20 inches of rain that I showed you earlier this morning, they're not going to go away. They're still there, as you can see. And they're going to be coming up and moving across. They're going to be across this coastline that I just showed, okay? That's 20 inches of rain. My goodness, wherever it's red. Now, the storm hasn't got there yet. This is going to change, okay? But you folks can expect, look where it's red, that's 10 to 15 inches of rain. 10 to 15 inches of rain. And even where it's this orangey color, that's 6 to 10 inches of rain. You need to pay attention. You can see for Alabama, you got maybe I'm going to say 2.5 to 4, maybe 5-inch chance of some rain down in this area and this little bit of the Florida Panhandle. Other than that, also up in Tennessee, you guys got a chance of 4 to 6 inches of rain from about midway to the western sections over here. And also over here in Arkansas, same goes for you. This rain's going to continue to go for days and days. So folks, please be aware of what's happening. Okay, I know you don't want me to sit here and read to you, but some of this stuff we need to go over. But so far as watches, warnings, whether it be hurricane, tropical storm, surge advisories, watches and warnings, all of that stuff, click show more down below this video. I will have it posted there. Read it. You need to know what it says. Okay, now from reports from the Air Force Reserve and the NOAA Hurricane Hunter aircraft, they indicate that Barry has strengthened during the past several hours. Well, we were expecting that to happen. Now, the Air Force plane reported that it has winds of 62 knots and reliable-looking SFMR winds of 50 to 55 knots in the strong convection areas that has developed in the southern quadrant. Now, in addition to that, the data from both planes indicate the central pressure has fallen also to near 998 millibars. And based on this data, the intensity is increased to 55 knots. Data from the NOAA plane, which is flying near 460 millibars, shows that the center at the level is south of the low-level center, and it's likely due to ongoing northerly shear. That part is not going to develop, I don't think. I could be wrong. It might. If it does, it's not going to last but just a few hours, okay? Let's see here what's going on. Now, while there is still a larger than normal spread between the UK Met and on the left side of the HWRF on the right side, the track guidance has come into better agreement that Barry will turn northwestward later today or tonight with this motion. It's going to continue until the center makes landfall along the Louisiana coast in the next 24 to 30 hours. After landfall, the system should move northward through a break in the ridge of high pressure over the United States until the 72-hour point, after which it should recurve northeastward into the westerlies. and the new track forecast is only minor tweaks to the previous forecast. Now, this is what I really wanted to get to. Barry has been strengthening despite the asymmetric construction, I can't get it out. I said it earlier, ongoing northerly shear. I'm just kind of wondering why they're saying hurricane right now. And the presence of mid to upper level dry air over the northern semicircle. The intensity guidance suggests that while the environment will be best marginally favorable, the cyclone will continue to intensify until landfall. Based on this, the new intensity forecast calls for Barry to become a hurricane in 24 hours, just before landfall. Well, we kind of figured that might happen, but it ain't gonna last. To me, the word hurricane scares people more than the words tropical storm. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm putting the facts out there. I've told you all along, yeah, there's going to be some high winds in places, and the rain, well, we know what the rain's going to do. Now, after landfall, the cyclone should steadily weaken with decay to a remnant low forecast in about 72 hours. So, it's just like I said all along. It's not going to form an eye. I don't know why they're saying it's going. I've always thought hurricanes had to have an eye. I don't know it all. Okay? I don't know it all. I always thought a hurricane had to have an eye, though. This is not going to have an eye, even as it strengthens. Now, look, when we come down here, there's only one little place that it's got hurricane winds, 75 mile per hour winds, and that's not going to happen until 24 hours, and it's probably going to have hit land or just getting right to hit land then, and it's not going to last. Boom, it's going to hop right down 50, 35, 25, 25, 25. So, yeah, you guys, you look out for some 75 mile per hour wind. I don't know if it's going to be steady or just in gust. All along, I think you're going to have 65 and 70 mile per hour wind gust. You could have hurricane gust, and I've said that all along too. But I think so far as the regular winds go, they're going to be in the 50s and 60s until it starts to die down. That's what I think. So much for what I think. There's your update. I'll be back later this evening with your late evening forecast. Please be aware of what's going on around you, my friends, because it's nothing to play with. You cannot drink all of that water that's coming to some places for some people in this storm. And yes, the winds are going to blow. I don't mean to play down all this either. I'm just saying it's going to be more like a high-end tropical storm than a full-fledged hurricane for the majority of this storm, Tropical Storm Barry. That's what I think. So, I'll be back with you. If any more changes come up, I'll be sure and put them up for you. I love you so much. Stay safe, okay? Stay safe. Keep me posted wherever you are. If you get any pictures of anything out of the ordinary, please send them to me. Click scroll more, get that vital information that you need now about, I'm going to put it on here, about where watches and warnings of all sorts are and exactly where they are. And if you scroll down far enough, you'll find my email address to send some pictures to. Peace, love, and kindness to all. Thanks for watching.